One of my favorite verses is John 10:10, and it's the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus said, I've come that you may have life and life abundant. It begs the question, well, what does that really mean? And humbly, I'm just trying to begin to unpack it, right? And begin to help people see that in light of health, body, mind, soul, spirit. He wants us to have abundant life and actually enjoy our lives and have joy, and that it doesn't depend on our circumstances. I believe it's a decision. It's kind of like working out. You don't always feel like doing it, but it's motivation follows action. And I believe that a similar thing is here. A choice to continue to do the thing that's good for you no matter what, but to honestly also understand that health flows from the inside out. And then it's not just about the physical. You can be really, really sick and not able to go to the gym and still have strength and still have abundant life and still have joy.
We believe that you are strong by design, and you were made in God's image to have a strong body, mind, and spirit. You're listening to the #1 strength and health authority podcast in the world. So let's get ready to unlock your potential and transform your life in today's episode. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode here on the Strong by Design podcast. We are back for another fun one. I'm sure the last episode that was a two-parter with our good friend Will Grazione had your head spinning a little bit because there was just so much there to talk about with the nutrition and the change, the food pyramid and all that stuff. If you haven't heard that episode, please go back and listen to it. Again, it's a two-parter because we had so much to talk about. I had to break up the conversation. But I have a new guest and a very different topic today on the podcast. Super excited to get to know our guest today and share her with you a little bit. I found out about her, well, kind of two ways. The first way was through Joe Miller, who is a past guest and host for a little while on the Strong by Design podcast and a good friend of the show. And she introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Brian Alsruhe, and I podcasted with him. I can't believe it. It's already been 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful conversation, super memorable. One of my favorites, actually, called Die Empty. I think it was episode 273. So go back and listen to that. Well, I didn't realize how amazing his wife was until Joe mentioned it earlier this year and said, you have to have his wife, Alena, on to talk about what she's doing. And in her own right is just as fantastic as Brian. So I'm get to share with you today my new friend Alena.
Hello.
I'm joined by her from you're in the Carolinas, right? Wait,
I'm
wrong.
Man. I'm in Maryland. So
Maryland. That's right. I should have known that. That's right. Yeah, Joe's a Baltimore Oriole girl.
Yeah, she was from here and then she moved, and I miss her so much. But yeah, from here, Maryland.
That's right.
East Coast.
East Coast, just like we're in the same time zone, so that's nice. Down here, just outside Tampa, and she's a licensed professional counselor. She's an EMDR certified therapist. I'll tell you what that is in a second. A strength coach and a brain health coach. So we have a lot in common, actually. And she has a deep heart for helping women heal and grow strong from the inside out. She has over 2 decades in the fitness world and 16 years in mental health. Alena is uniquely blended faith and neuroscience, trauma-informed care, and strength training to help women move from fear to faith and insecurity to strength. And she believes that the body is not something to battle, but something to steward and even worship through. And her work's all about healing what's beneath the surface so women can step boldly into the life and the purpose that God has for them. And we're really excited to have her on the show today. So, Alena, thank you so much for joining Strong by Design.
Oh, thank you so much for having me and for that beautiful introduction. You captured my heart.
You're welcome.
So.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you
so
you can share it with your mom. You know, look, they said all these nice things about me.
I know.
I've had a few. Well, that's the beauty of like using AI nowadays, because you can take all the things that you want to say and say, can you make this sound really good? And after just like a few minutes, it really does help. And I've had several guests over especially the last year, as chat and all that stuff has really gotten better and better and better. They've said, gosh, that was like the nicest introduction I've ever heard. And I'm like, well, I can't take full credit. I just took all of your amazing information and I kind of worked it and molded it into something better than I could do myself. But
Sweet.
So our audience understands, just because I had to look it up too. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Easy for me to say. I have a question, just not even part of the script here. What got you interested in that?
Oh, such a good question. Yeah. So when I became a counselor, I've been a counselor for about 16, it's my 16th year. And I wanted to understand why people basically do what they do, why they want to make changes, why they can't make the changes they say they want to make. Because before that, I started out as a personal trainer helping people. And I just kind of wanted to learn more about emotions and about how the brain worked. And from there, that led me to learn more about trauma. And EMDR is like the top trauma treatment. And so I was like, hey, if I'm going to help people, from a root cause approach, we've got to address their trauma and the nervous system. So I learned in 2017, I was certified in EMDR and have been working my way into becoming a consultant and helping other counselors learn how to do that as well.
Wow.
Wow,
that's so unique. I'm sure. I mean, I can't imagine that there's a lot of people that have that kind of training, and but maybe is it growing and as
growing.
Something that, because of it's something that people are a little bit more aware of as
Well, yeah, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, and it talks about how trauma lives in our body, and a lot of times when we react to different triggers in their environment today, it's because something's living inside of us from the past. And I can so EMDR, your brain has a natural ability to heal like the body does. And it's called the adaptive information processing model. And so when you go through a difficult experience, like a big T trauma, it could be like a car accident, it could be war, it could be, an accident or a huge loss, or a small T trauma, kind of like could be even like bullying, or it could just be an ongoing negative comment from somebody. You begin to internalize that inside, and you begin to have a belief system based upon that, and your body reacts to certain ways. Like if you hear a loud noise, you might jump, or lots of different symptoms that could come from that, and really interferes with your daily life. And so the memories get stuck in the brain and in the body. And so EMDR is able to help the brain heal through reprocessing, and be able to have an adaptive way of seeing the world and not react to the trauma responses, thoughts, feelings, emotions, images that come up in the body. And it's incredibly healing for people. And so I was doing talk therapy for a really long time with people. And then once I started using this technique, I saw huge breakthroughs. And so I was like, I got to continue to do this for people because it's going to help set them free in a brand new way. So I'm super excited to be able to do it. Yeah. And help other people learn how to do it too.
It made me, as you were describing it and explaining it, the different kinds, it made me think briefly of my father-in-law who was in Vietnam and served our country as a proud Marine. And anytime he visits a lot down here in Florida, we spend a lot of time together, a few times a year. And anytime there's a really loud noise, I mean, he jumps. And I can only imagine, that's has to do with his time overseas as a young 20-something-year-old man, being around, a lot of gunfire. Let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you did something intentional for your brain? Not for vanity and not for performance, but so you can stay sharp, present, and fully there for the people that you love. Because here's the truth. As we get older, mental clarity doesn't fade overnight. It slips quietly. Names, focus, energy, patience. And the people who feel it first aren't us. It's our spouse, it's our kids, even our grandkids. That's why I take NeuroThrive every single day. It supports the mitochondria in your brain, the tiny engines that power memory, focus, and mental energy, so you can stay sharp and engaged, not checked out. And for Valentine's Day, we're doing something special just for Strong by Design listeners. Right now, you can buy 2 bottles and get 1 free. 1 for you, 1 for someone you love, and 1 to keep as a backup. Just go to criticalnutritionlabs.com/strong by design. No code, no guesswork. But this offer only runs through February 14th. Take care of your brain because the people you love are counting on you.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually what the research of the book was based off of. So
Wow.
there's a really good, I will send it to you. You can share it with your audience, like an 8-minute clip about
Oh, wow.
the guy who authored the book and the research and why trauma not only affects Vietnam vets, war vets, that's where the research started, but and then how more people have been able to recognize this in their own lives today.
Wow.
But yeah, oh my
Yeah.
word, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about.
let me send that over to me
I
when we're done,
will,
and I'll
for sure.
include it in the show notes for people who want to learn a little bit more about it. I think that'd be very
Absolutely.
helpful. Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did lifting weights
Mhm.
become now? Did lifting weights become interesting or a big part of your life because of Brian, or was that something that you both brought to the relationship?
That's
Because
such a
obviously,
great
by the
question.
way, anyone who hasn't seen or heard of Brian Alsruhe before,
Mhm.
check him out. He is a great.
Yeah.
What's his handle on Instagram? I forget off the
On
top of my head.
Brian.Alsruhe now, he changed it
Okay,
from
okay.
Neversate. You may know him as Neversate.com, and then he changed it to Brian Alsruhe. So
Neversay.com,
you can
right?
look up
Yeah.
both. You'll find him. Hmm.
Alsruhe is
H-E.
Alsruhe,
Yeah.
and he is a very strong human being. He does some great stuff. You guys still have your gym, I assume.
Yep. He's there now. He's there
And you've done
now.
some. You've blessed people in that gym. I
Oh,
know over the years because
thank
I've
you.
seen that one video that made me
Mhm.
cry a little
Ball
bit when
your
I
eyes
watched
out.
it a few years
I
ago.
know.
But
To
so,
suffer
where did your
beautifully.
passion for lifting come from?
Such a good question. That's so funny. So as a young girl, I was an athlete, played all kinds of different sports. My dad loved sports, so I was always into sports. And in high school, actually the same high school that Brian went to, except he was a little older than me, I decided to take a weight training class. I'd never even heard of it really. And ended up being like pretty good at squats and feeling good about it and enjoyed the whole setting. It was something brand new for me. And so I began to really like it in high school. I think it was a junior. So I took it in my junior and senior year, had a couple friends who did it too. And it was just like part of my life. And then I will say, give Brian some credit. He ended up hiring me as a personal trainer at his
Oh my God.
first gym that he was a manager at. And from there, I just began to we worked together. We originally went to the same church, and I would go to the gym and got my personal training certification, and then he hired me, and so he helped me lift. He helped me get strong. I've been with him through all of his programming, and I've been like a little girl guinea pig, honestly, for a lot of his programs and done them
Let's see
all
if
and
how this
scaled them.
works on you. Yeah, before I
I try
before
them
I
first
tell it.
before other people do. I want to know what's going on. So yeah, I loved weights and exercise before we ever met, but I do think that he helped like propel me with the programming and encouragement and just hard work
Mm.
into places I never probably could have got on my own. So I will give him incredible credit for that. And then
And
coaching
for you,
together has been great.
yeah, you guys both have been coaching and working with people for a
Yeah.
while now.
Yep.
So is lifting weights for you obviously transcends just, physique
Oh
interests
yeah.
and being strong. It has like spiritual, mental, emotional impact on you. Is
Yes.
that something that what was there from the early
Mm.
times when you were training, or has this kind of developed and it's really become just part of who you are?
That's so
That's
good.
kind
That's
of
such a great question. And yeah, so to for answer your question, yeah, absolutely, it goes beyond, hey, I just want to look good. Like I will say, if you want to have to, like, muscle is great. You're not going to have to worry about weight management. It's just so
I
nice to
know.
be able to have lifted for so long and have like muscle that's there and continue to maintain it. But here's the thing. I learned to love movement so early on. I was born in Hawaii and lived there for 3 years with my family, and my parents took me swimming. They took me hiking. Like I was always out, and movement was part of my life because it was part of their
Mm,
life. And I
yep.
believe that God put it in me from an early age to connect with him through movement.
Mm,
So I will say that it's evolved for sure to be such a thing of uh it I'm not that kind of person who's like, I love to work out all the time. Like that's not me, but when I'm doing it and then I'm able to feel like revived by connection to God, movement. A lot of times I listen to worship music. If you watch any of my Instagram videos with weightlifting, is always a worship song. Like to me, it's an act of connection to the Lord that's spiritual for me. It's emotional. It makes me feel good. Like it's all
yeah.
combined, and I can share a little bit about why as we're talking about it today. But it's totally evolved, probably within the last 8 years, to be something so much more than
Mm.
training to train. You know,
That's right. Yeah,
it's
I
huge.
mean, I've realized that more as I've aged. Certainly, that when you're in your teens and 20s, it is more about the aesthetics and just being strong and looking good. I mean, that's kind of the goal when you're younger, and then as you get older, you realize you need it as a release, that your body is a temple and that
Yep.
you need to move it and to strengthen it and to
Yep.
fortify it and to put in hard work, and nothing good comes from being lazy, and all these
No,
things, that all these
for
life
sure.
lessons that you gain from working out hard and strength training. And that can look
Yeah,
different for everybody. Like
it can.
anybody, especially you guys out there, like you don't just like lift weights and get big and strong like Brian,
No.
Elena's husband.
Yeah.
He's on a different level. So let's take Brian, who's like at, the top 1% of the 1%. Lifting like trucks over his head and stuff. I mean, he's just ridiculously. I mean, he's done strongman
Yep.
competitions, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he's freakishly strong, but he's put in the hard work. But it looks
Yes.
different for everybody,
Hmm.
because I think that's people get intimidated when they see really fit, really strong men or women,
Hmm.
and they say, "Ooh, like that's not for me," But
Hmm.
it can be. It just looks different. It maybe instead of you pressing 300-400 pounds over your head, it's 100 pounds.
Hmm.
And it doesn't. We're not all built the same. We don't have all the same. Genetics and the same giftings and all that stuff. And so, what would be your words of advice or words of wisdom for someone listening who doesn't feel like some elite athlete but still wants to get to a better place?
Yeah, so I'm a new pregnant athlete, right? So I've started back at
That's
the
right.
beginning at ground zero, having to adapt and become a brand new athlete. So I totally understand what you're saying. And the thing is, you got to start somewhere. If you want to be healthy, building
Mm,
muscle, building cardiovascular endurance, helping your body be able to be coordinated, flexible, do all the different parts of movement, enjoy life, really. Because the
yeah.
reason I lift and do interval training and do all kinds of stuff is so that literally I can go hiking and see beautiful things or engage in going places to see God's beauty because that's just what I really enjoy with friends.
Mm,
So I think you got to figure out what is it that you really want out of your health journey and what kind of movement's going to get you there and what do you need to do, what do you love to do, what you have to do. So for me, I began to learn what do I need to do differently as a pregnant athlete and in postpartum. So I ended up taking a whole new course and getting certified and learning how to train pregnant and postpartum women. And I learned how to totally revamp the way that I distributed pressure and tension in my lifting. And so I think the
mm,
reason I bring that up is that you just have to start somewhere and not compare to anybody else. Brian
yeah.
started in his basement when he was a little kid and he just started benching, and that's just how he's just hard work built over a long period of time. And same here,
Right.
hard
That's
work
right.
built over a long period of time. And so I think it's about finding your why, and then taking small steps. towards that. And those small steps, like laying bricks, you just build them, they build on each other, and not trying to compare to other people, but challenge yourself. It's important to challenge yourself physically because, as I'm sure we'll talk about today, the physical translates for all aspects of life, mentally,
It
emotionally,
does. Yeah. And
spiritually,
I wanted to
relationally.
go, that's right where I wanted to go there.
Okay.
Like from your learning, your education, your experience, what is happening like in our brain when
Mm-hmm.
we're strength training and when
Yeah.
we're putting ourselves through challenges, physical
Yes.
challenges, like what's happening to us, like our physiology, besides just the muscles getting
Yeah,
stronger?
right. Because it's so much more than that. I love that you bring
Right.
this up. Because so we live in a world that's wanting to move towards comfort all the time.
Yep.
And so we kind of have to, on purpose, decide I need to build a sense of resilience and press into things that are uncomfortable. So by challenging yourself through lifting or through any kind of movement, honestly, just a little bit of challenge, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
And what's happening is so many things in the body, right? So neuroscience tells us that the brain is always changing. Every single day, there's new baby nerve cells formed in our brain. So it tells us that we can change and grow and adapt. And so by challenging ourselves, we're going to be able to say, hey, I can do this hard thing in the gym. It's almost like this platform and like metaphor for life. If I'm having a bad day, but I still go and I can squat 5 more pounds than I did the day before, or even just show up and do my best job possible, that's a win. And it shows you that, like, even though you're going through something hard, your brain and body can rise to the occasion. And I would always love to talk about this concept, and you can stop me if you want, but
No, no,
you're
no.
you're building your window of tolerance for stress. So we all have stress in our lives, right?
Yeah.
And so when we go and we do something harder than a little harder the next time, where we go and expose ourselves to discomfort, we're expanding our ability to handle hard things. And that's going to build over time. Just like you build muscle, 2.5 pounds, of weight at a time, we build our window of tolerance, our ability to handle stress, our ability to deal with difficult emotions, because that's what I find is most people struggle to regulate their emotions. And typically what we learned at Never Say when we did group coaching, or even if you're just one-on-one, if you have someone with you through the hard thing, you will exponentially move through it with so much more energy. You're not alone. There's strength in numbers, right? So when you've got that encouragement from somebody else, you're going to grow and you're not alone.
Yep.
And that, lowers your stress. And so when you build that over time, when things happen in your life, you're going to be able to handle them a lot
Yeah.
better because you've seen your body do it in a physical space. So that's one big thing that I'm like, that's
Oh,
why I'm such an advocate
it's so
for it.
huge.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's a monster takeaway. It's that accomplishment thing. And obviously in life, most of us realize this, that our accomplishments are greater when when it's in concert with other people,
Yeah,
typically.
absolutely.
We can achieve so much more with others. And I
Absolutely.
wrote something down as you were talking because there's
Yeah.
so much good there. People who work out seem more fulfilled and more joy filled in their life. It's I can be having like an okay day or a not so great day, but if I get out in the gym, which is right outside the door behind me, and we have our own private gym, just
Love
like
it.
kind of you guys have your own,
Mm-hmm.
you have a gym at the house, right? You have a
I'll
gym
show you.
you have
Yeah. Before we
your
get
own
off the call, I'll show you.
That's right. And as you said, if your day's not going great, but you get out there and you go and you do something that's hard and you accomplish it, you just overcame something, and it has an impact on all those feel good chemicals in
Oh,
the brain, right?
yes.
And physically, obviously, when you circulate your blood and stress the muscles and do all that stuff, there's just it's layered,
Oh, so layered.
has layers of impact on you, and it can completely change your whole mood for the
Completely.
day, and maybe
Yep.
the second half of the day is a better day.
Yep.
And I don't know any time I've ever done a workout, unless maybe I hurt myself or something,
Right?
which is
Yeah.
quite rare, but where I
Yeah,
ever
me too.
regretted the workout.
That's a good point.
Or I was
Mhm.
talking with you maybe before the call, talking
Yeah.
about yoga, and we do yoga here once a
Mhm.
week, and it's the
So
hardest
good.
workout of the week for me. And sometimes I really fight it and don't want to go out there at 12:30 and don't want to get my butt kicked by little Jen out there who just absolutely destroys me every
Awesome.
time. But after it's over,
Hmm.
I am thrilled that I just did
Mm,
something hard for my body that I
so
wouldn't have done
good.
by myself. So there's
Yep.
the strength in numbers thing again, because I'm
Yes.
out there with some of my coworkers and an instructor.
I love that. I love that so much. No, you're talking my language. Like
Yeah.
working out releases endorphins, the body's natural feel good hormone, right? And then also
Yep.
serotonin and dopamine are
Yes.
neurotransmitters. And so that
Yes.
crosses over to that mental health piece. Serotonin is involved with mood and helping manage anxiety.
Mm.
And dopamine is that motivation. It gives us motivation. That's what you're talking about. You get a little dopamine hit, a healthy one from working out, and then
Yep.
endorphins. And it literally is I wrote this down, a release, emotional release, nervous system release, but then it's a reset because I have experienced that too. It totally can reset your day. You could be, I always tell people this isn't very scientific, but I could be like a level 10 angry and then I could lift, get sweat, and then like help somebody else out. And then I'm at a 5. And then I'm walking into the next moment of my day so much better. So it's
Yep.
such a reset and the nervous
It
system
is a
release
it,
as
it
well.
is. It's a massive reset, and it's a great release for the frustrations and the stresses of life that
Hmm.
every one of us has on different levels, whether it's because you're a parent with young children, or you're
Yeah.
financially strained, or
Hmm.
you have challenges and difficulties at your work, or relationship stuff, whatever it is.
Yep.
It makes things better. It
Just
gives you
makes it better.
perspective on things.
Yeah.
It gets the frustrations out in a very healthy manner, so you're not doing
Yes.
something else that
Correct.
people might end up clinging to.
For
Go work
relief.
out, and like that's a good thing for you, for your
Hmm.
a good thing to be. I don't say addicted to, but certainly something that to be a regular habit of yours.
Absolutely.
I want to ask specifically
Yeah.
about the ladies because
Yeah. Good.
obviously you know this very well, is that when women get into strength training, and I'm not talking about going out for a jog, or I'm talking
Yeah.
about getting into like lifting weights and stuff,
Yeah.
and you see a woman who's stronger than she thought she could be, or
Hmm.
thought that by
Yeah.
putting in the work, and she's stronger physically and mentally than she thought. Do you have some testimony,
Mm,
or a story, or someone come to mind that is worth sharing? I'm sure you have more
yeah.
than one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We just did a whole women's conference called Strong and Beautiful Conference. And it
Right.
was just to help women. And I'll talk about this a little later. Just know that their worth and value come from the Lord and that they're strong through him because of him. So we talk a lot about where does strength come from, but I think God wants women to be able to feel as strong as he has created them to be. So lifting is such a powerful tool for that. And I've seen when you
Mm,
asked me that question, that my mind's like flooded with all these different flashes of women. I mean, I've helped women lift weights for 20 years. And
yeah.
so it's been like a lot of faces that have seen this and just, I'll bring up a couple stories, but the
Yeah.
character traits that we see is just that they feel more capable to do everyday things, right? It's just no big deal. Carry your groceries, lift your suitcase, grab something, do something. Like it's just totally amazing how shocking it is when
Mm,
women can do things they didn't think they could do, and it ups their
yeah.
confidence. There's a craze called embodied strength, and it's to
Mm,
actually have your body represent how it feels on the inside. So if you
mm,
feel strong, you're gonna walk taller. You're gonna have your shoulders back, head high. You're not gonna hang that head. You're gonna look people in the eye. You're going to be able to walk with the confidence that I think the Lord wants us to have as daughters
mm,
of Him. And lifting is just such a wonderful way to do that. And it's so simple to be able to do. And then
Yeah.
also it taught them to have a level of control. There's a lot we can't control in this world, Chris, a lot.
Right.
And I think sometimes just the gym, or whatever kind of movement, but lifting specifically, you can control what you're doing and you can be really mindful about it. And so it brings you to the present. It helps you be able to add weight, take away weight, be in touch with your body, all kinds of different things that allow you freedom of choice. Because many of us feel like choices have been taken away. And so that's another side note of this to combat some of those negative beliefs. But I'm thinking the opposite end of the spectrum. There's one time there was a girl who I work with as a client because I do counseling and I do coaching. And when it's appropriate, that client comes in the gym. And I can think of a girl, she's just out of high school. She's very insecure. Just wasn't, lifting wasn't part of her world, but she was really dealing with insecurity and anxiety. And I was like, well, I know where a place to start for this. And I know lifting isn't therapy, guys, but it's a huge intervention tool to use to help someone begin to believe in themselves and see that they're
Yep.
capable and do that in really small steps and feel it on the inside. And I watched this girl transform into just trying to shrink down and get small, insecure, not confident in her body, become extremely strong for her frame and be able to do things she never thought she would do. The smile on her face, the joy, the way she walked and carried herself. I'm like, transformational. Like, I don't think talking in a room helped, but this was a big part of what she needed to propel
Yeah.
her into her next step. And then it was just incredible to see. And that's just one story out of many. And then my mom's 70. Oh, she's going to kill me. One or two. She is got
She
a
won't
small,
kill you. She
small. She
no,
looks
no,
like she's 50. Okay. She looks great,
yeah. That's
but she
good.
got
That's
a,
all. See, now you just now she won't kill you because you just
no,
complimented her.
she was the best. She's my lifting partner right now. She's
Oh
amazing.
wow.
And yeah, we've begun to, when Brian and I moved from one of our house in the woods, a lot of our equipment went to my parents' garage. And so we lifted together for a while, which was really fun and really great. And that woman, she body weight deadlift now, almost body weight squat. Like to see her, like, cause she's small, but then to see her go from like, I'm not feeling well today. She deals with a lot of stomach stuff to lifting weights for like literally 10 minutes. The woman, so much energy, strength, like shoulders back, head high, so fast. It's just amazing. And I just can't speak to it enough. And then she's like the
That's awesome.
strongest 70-year-old, 71-year-old, 2-year-old I know. And it's inspiring,
Yeah,
to be able to see that. So, and even in
it
me,
is.
once I got around a bunch of other girls, we all, when we coached at Neversee, there was a strong group of us who just pushed each other to be better, and stronger than we ever could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like at
Yep.
one point, it was 115 downs and deadlifted 315. Like that's crazy,
You at one point you were 115 deadlifting 315.
Correct.
Just about triple body weight.
Yeah, almost
Was
two and a half.
Joe
Yeah.
was Joe hitting numbers like that too?
She
I
was
feel like.
around. Yeah, she was one of the stronger girls. Her and this other girl who's Andy O'Connell. And you have to talk to her. She's the power lifter and she's stronger than me. She's amazing. But just to see the impossible, it blew your mind. You were able
Yeah.
to see people, women, do things that they shouldn't be able to do, but just because they showed up and worked hard every time and encouraged each other and recovered, guess what? They got
Yeah.
so much stronger. And so I think that
Yeah.
it was just really cool to see.
It
I hope
is.
that
It's
answers your
very cool to
question.
see. Yeah, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people listening who I'm sure can't even fathom deadlifting or which is picking up weight right off the
hmm
ground 3 times their body weight.
Yeah. And for
Um,
perspective, right now is my pregnancy PR is 155. And I'm okay with that because I start
right.
where I'm at.
That's
And
right.
my mom's deadlifting more than me. You know what I mean? Like that's okay right now. And I'm
It
okay with
has to
that.
be okay.
It
Yeah.
has to
Yeah.
be okay. Yeah. I'm not trying to like cause a bunch of pelvic floor issues. That's something I had to learn about. So we can talk about that
Right.
another time.
Yeah, that's
Whole
a
world that
monster
I got to
topic
learn about.
over the last several years. Yeah, we've done
hmm
we have some episodes on
Oh,
that.
good. Great.
Yeah, pelvic floor content does really well, has done well on our channel.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about redemption and a abundant life in
Yeah.
your content. What's that look like beyond like just physical health? How do
Hmm.
painful experiences get
Hmm.
transformed into purpose? Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think ultimately that's what makes life so rich
Right.
for everyone
Yeah.
is a feeling and a sense of purpose in how we live our lives. How when we wake up in the morning and put our 2 feet on the ground and obviously,
Hmm.
if you're blessed to have good health and you're blessed to
Yeah.
have a family that loves you, a spouse and children and all that stuff, and doggies, we are family. We like
Yeah.
our pets
Doggies.
around here, and the Alsruhe
Yes.
family loves dogs, of
Oh,
course.
yeah. We got one right here.
Right, and that stuff is obviously that's what makes life worth living in a
Hmm.
way, but also our purpose. Like
Hmm.
what are we doing in the world? What's our
Yeah.
purpose? And
Hmm.
what with your work that you're doing,
Hmm.
how do these traumas and painful experiences get
Hmm.
transformed into purpose?
Yeah. What a great and loaded question.
Yeah, I
So
know
I
it's kind
believe,
of
yeah, no, and your girl Jo Miller, she's actually going to be on my next webinar. We're going to be talking about this in detail. So, for anybody who'd love to join, she's got a beautiful testimony to share
hey,
about that.
we'll have
My
you.
word,
We'll gladly have you back on as guests or whatever. I can
she's
talk about
awesome.
stuff like that all day, and
I
we've
know it's
Joe.
amazing. No, I think that that's what everyone wants to know. Okay, why is this pain? Why am I going through what I'm going through? Why would a good God
Mhm.
allow? Like all those questions. And so I'm going to go back
Yes.
up a little bit to one of my favorite verses is John 10:10, and it's the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus said, "I've come that you may have life and life abundant." And so
Mhm.
it begs the question, well, what does that really mean? And
Yes.
humbly, I'm just trying to begin to unpack it, right? And begin to help
Mhm.
people see that in light of health, body, mind, soul, spirit. He wants us to have abundant life and actually enjoy our lives and have joy, and that it doesn't depend on our circumstances
Mhm.
or where we're at. And that is a really difficult thing to grasp and to
It
live,
is.
right? And to still have joy no matter what's happening to you. And I
Mhm.
believe it's a decision. It's kind of like working out. You don't always feel like doing it, but it's motivation follows action. And I believe that a
Right.
similar thing is here is a choice to continue to do the thing that's good for you no matter what, but to honestly also understand that health flows from the inside out
Mhm.
first. And then it's not just about the physical. You can be really, really sick and not able to go to the gym and still have strength and still have abundant life and still have joy. And those are
Yeah.
the people that I respect the most. And learn from and grow from the most. And so I
Mhm.
believe that, I mean, sitting across from so many people's traumas, stories of abuse. You mentioned Vietnam, like, oh my goodness, and just the world right now. There's so much to hold, and it's heavy, right? And I know
Yeah.
Brian's talked about suffering and suffer beautifully, and many of the people that we both love have been through really difficult things.
Yeah.
We all have a story. Whoever's listening today, you have a story of your own personal suffering or someone that you love who's suffering. And it's like, okay, what is this? How do we handle this? And what does abundant life have to do with this? What does lifting even have to do with this? But I think my humble answer for today is that God doesn't always co-sign on your trauma. Okay. So like what got you here, the hard stuff of your life, he's not like, yeah, that this is going to bring you purpose. He's like, my heart's grieves that you went through this too. I love you and I'm with you. And he is our comfort through that.
Mhm.
And he can redeem any part of your story. So he can redeem anything that's been broken, anything that's you've done or that's been done to you, any shame that you carry, any sickness. I don't think we can completely grasp this. It's bigger than us, but I
Yeah.
think it's a choice to, and this is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I hate just speaking it out there, but if you believe that he is good and does good, and that he also cares about your suffering, you can bring him your emotions, bring him the hard stuff, and just know that he's with you. He does promise to comfort us through it. And so he's going to show us the purpose through our hard stuff. And a lot of times it is to help encourage another person going through it.
Yes.
And when we testify about it, it helps someone else get through it
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
and that's transformational.
That's
You know,
exactly what you occurred to me as you were saying
hmm
that is that it's like a connector for us. It's a
hmm
bridge
hmm
to other people and to strengthening relationships. It's because none of us is above it. None of us is
Nope.
above suffering and pain.
Mm-mm.
We're all experiencing, we could be experiencing it right now. Maybe it's from our childhood. Maybe we have yet to really go through
Experience it. If you
trials
haven't, you will, right?
if you haven't, you
Haven't, you
will. And
will.
it's not like we're trying to be doomsday people, but it's
No.
kind of like it's really hard, I think, to live a long life, hopefully, 80s, 90s, whatever, and not go through some stuff.
Yep.
And it makes you have to, you
Dig
know,
deep.
connect with other people for strength and to look up,
Mm-hmm.
to have
Mm-hmm.
the cross as the vertical and the horizontal, right? So
Yep.
the vertical
People.
is first. That's
Yep.
connection to God for the almighty strength. And
Absolutely.
and then the horizontal is connection to other people. And so the
Yes.
cross is a great representative of
Mm-hmm.
those two ways that we have relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both extremely valuable, and we can do
Mm-hmm.
God's work by tapping into His strength, and then, of course, tapping into relationship with others, and help
Absolutely.
people through these very difficult. If I didn't have certain men's groups and
Mm-hmm.
certain friends or coworkers and certain stuff, I mean, I've lost a lot of people in my life. My mother and brother to cancer
Mm-hmm.
when they were way before they should have gone, and
Wow. Sorry.
my dad when haven't had my father in my life in over 20 years. He passed away a long
Wow.
time ago, and
Mm-hmm.
those things, like if I didn't have certain people to get through that with,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have turned out like I am today.
Yeah. No,
No way.
thank you for sharing that. Yeah, no, we need each other to go through stuff and lean on each other and bear one another's burdens. And one of the things that I hear a lot, I get the people who come from, maybe over churched environments. So there's platitudes that people say when you're going through pain. Like even God can use this to redeem your story. Even too early, that does not feel good. It's like you hit a brick wall. Like you get slapped in the face. Like nobody wants to hear that right away. But it's true. God, can bring anything out of anything.
Yes.
And so I'm always really careful not to throw, hey, it'll get better soon, like just so I feel better in connection with them. Our job is to sit with people in their pain because that's what Jesus would do. And
Mm,
to know that you can bring all your hard emotions. He's not afraid of them. He wants to know you're angry and sad. It's okay. He's not afraid of that. He can handle it. And so I think the hard thing is if we turn away from that and we go
yeah.
our own separate way, or like you said, we find relief somewhere else for our pain, and we don't go to him, it's going to take a lot longer to pull that, to heal, to find healing and really see the purpose in the tragedy of what you've been through, and then
Yeah.
be able to help others in and through it, and
Well, I
parts of
think
ours. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, but so many of us are like fixers, right? We want to like
Hmm.
fix people, or
Hmm.
hey, maybe this will help. Maybe if I say this, or if I
Yeah,
do this, but it's not always.
no,
It's not always about what we.
do.
It's more about us just showing up for what that person needs, and in a
Hmm.
moment, maybe they just need a good listener. Maybe
Yeah,
they just need a hug.
yep,
Maybe they just need to hold your hand. Maybe
yep,
they just need a text. Like it looks
something.
different for everyone, every relationship.
Yep,
But what really comes down to, I think, is just that consistency in showing up and
hmm,
being there, being available for other people, because their
100%.
timeline it might take somebody, you know,
Long time.
a full year to kind of start to come around after the loss of a loved one,
Hmm.
or it might take 2 years, or it might take 2 months. Like it looks
Hmm.
different on everybody, you
It
know?
does. It really does. And just giving yourself permission to do what your body needs to during that time. Like you talked about all kinds of different forms of movement. I remember there's a period of time where Brian and I went through a separation when we married 7 years. We were separated for a year and a half of that. So to
Wow.
anyone out there who's struggling in their marriage, just know that there's hope. There's hope for you. And one day I'll come back and talk about our infertility journey, but there's hope for you. We're in the 6% category of not being able to, we've been
Yeah,
married
by the way,
17 years.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I don't want to get super personal, and it's up to,
No,
but
that's okay.
it's exciting after you and Brian being together for so
Yeah.
many years.
Yep.
You're having a baby, and it hasn't
Yep.
been an easy road, and it's not
No,
like
he
you just
said,
decided yesterday that you wanted to
no,
have one.
no. But I mean, we dated 5 years before we got married. We've been married 17 years, and you've known about his like illness that he went through. So, like, honestly,
Yeah.
it wasn't a priority because health was a priority prior. And so this, was something that we had really grieved. And
Wow.
then the Lord just saw fit for it to be the right time. And so we're like, all right, here we go. Let's do something
Wow.
brand new. And I know his timing and his purposes are always good. And there's some suffering, not to the level of watching a loved one, pass or hinted, but just the silent grief of, oh, I'm going to not have this as part of my life, and okay, let's see how it's hard. This is hard. And so I don't know, just seeing God's favor and faithfulness through this has been really incredible. So there's a whole another testimony there
Wow.
to share.
That's
But
awesome. Well, praise
yeah,
God. I love it. And children are, we have a coworker here they just had a baby. He came
cool.
4 weeks early, I think he came, and he
Wow. Oh
came in
man.
October.
Oh no.
And,
I better get
their
ready.
lives look way different,
I'm sure they do.
but I said, just, give it a couple more months and
Be
you'll
okay.
start getting some sleep again. Don't worry.
Oh gosh.
Eventually you will sleep again. It's
That's why we're
those
doing
first
this
six
now.
months.
That's
Yeah.
why we're doing this
The,
now.
the
No, but I
first
was gonna
six
say
months is tough. Yeah.
when we were separated, the one thing I wanted to say was like I honestly just did gentle stretch and yoga for because I knew my body just needed some rest and kindness
Wow.
and nurture. And I took like a year off of lifting. It's the only year I've ever taken off. And so I noticed. And so being mindful about what your body needs, incorporating rest for your nervous system, because sometimes your nervous system needs different things. And so to
Mm.
make sure that you can incorporate, whether it's gentle movement, whether it's hard work, whatever it is, paying attention to your body will really what is that quote? It doesn't have to scream at you. But it needs you to stop. If you're mindful and you pay attention, I do think showing up for yourself every day with movement or every other day, you kind of know where you're at, where your
Yeah.
body's at. It can talk to you if you listen.
Ah, yeah. That's good
Yeah.
advice for sure. Because some people just kind of go through the motions of
Yeah.
life and the same thing. It's a Groundhog
Hmm.
Day when it comes to what they do and
Yep. Don't
how they
disconnect.
move, how they treat their body. Sometimes you just need something different. And
Hmm.
I know for me, like, and I know for your husband Brian, like
Hmm.
nature is a huge
Oh, yeah.
reset. Being out, and I mean,
Hmm.
for me, I just being outside, being on a trip, going
Yep.
hiking in the woods, just anything
Absolutely.
that's in the outdoors usually, or going to the beach and being in the ocean, like those things. Sometimes movement doesn't exist just in the gym. It
Oh, I'd
needs to
rather be
exist
outside
in,
any day.
right,
Absolutely. Yep.
right. So it looks different on everybody, but you have to
Yeah.
find the time for it because everyone's gotten so comfortable in the last 15, 20 years living in indoors and in
Hmm.
devices and technology and all this stuff, which is
Mm,
great. We're using
yeah.
it right now and I use
Yep.
it for a living, but if you're not connected to sunshine and fresh air
Yeah.
and outdoor activity, it's
Mm.
you're really costing yourself.
You
You
are.
know,
Yeah. Oh, I'm all about it. Yeah.
many ways.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's all about being able to go hike a different mountain or go see something more beautiful. I think it's stewarding your body. You mentioned this earlier. Your body's a temple. And so we've
Mm,
got to take care of it and we had to value ourselves enough in order to do so. And what I learned is many people don't value themselves.
mm,
They abuse themselves in different ways and they don't care and make choices to care for the body they've been given, like sunshine, so important, right? So I'd rather be outside moving in the sunshine with worship music or with a good friend or like in the quiet, and so being able to take care of your brain, get it what it needs, get your body what it needs. And it's like an act of worship, really,
Yep.
out of gratitude, taking care of yourself out of gratitude for what you've been given. It's just like
Yeah. It does
higher.
it makes you more grateful.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
when you're moving, whether you're moving in the gym, but certainly outdoors, I definitely feel more connected to nature and
Hmm.
to this beautiful planet that we live on, and have
I
more
know.
gratitude. And it just seems like it comes in waves, and it's definitely healthy. It's a great place to be, to have a sense of gratitude in your day.
Absolutely.
So many people are kind of bitter and angry, and
Hmm.
you're right,
Yep.
in their day to day. Maybe they're bitter about their job, or they're bitter about their
Hmm.
marriage, or they're bitter about their
Yeah.
financial situations and stuff. And
Hmm.
the ways to kind of start to break that barrier down, I think, is definitely through activity and movement, but
Hmm.
certainly outdoor things,
Hmm.
and the sunshine and the fresh air, and being in the woods and being in the ocean and all that stuff is so
Yeah.
healing. And I mean, even Brian, he had some solitude there for a while. I think where you
Hmm.
used to live, didn't he spend a lot of time kind of
Hmm.
doing stuff in the woods? He was
Absolutely.
building out there and doing all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
He definitely misses it. Yeah, it's so beautiful to have that sense of solitude and connection with God and nature. It's so good for your soul. And I know for him, especially, just really made him feel so alive. And so,
Mm,
again, like I talked about the nervous system, we need rest. And that can look different for everybody. And being in nature is restful for many of us, and being able to work with your hands and connect. So he misses
yeah.
that a lot. And so we're always trying to get out and go on hikes and do different things. And I'm sure we'll have a property like that again one day. But yeah, no, well, you said something earlier, the gratitude, what we think about the most grows, and we
Oh
go in
yeah.
the direction of our strongest thoughts. So you're painting the
Mm,
world with what you see in your mind. So if you're waking up and you've got negative thoughts, you're going to have a negative day. You can always choose to see something and shift your perspective. And we have the ability
mm,
to think about our thoughts. The
yeah.
term
Right.
metacognition is take a step back and think about your thinking, observe your ways, the Bible says. And so being able to see and evaluate, is this true? Is this healthy? And what do I need to do to challenge this thought today? And then even what does God's word say about it? What's it true? What's true? And let's go towards that. And that's very important to consider too.
Mm.
It brings health to you because
Yes, it does.
we
Thank
can,
you for sharing that. It's a
yeah,
really important, valuable point for all of us. That little voice and the words that we use to talk to ourselves, and
yeah,
it all matters, for
yeah,
sure. But obviously, if you're rooted in the word, in Scripture and stuff, that's very helpful as well.
yeah,
It puts the right words
in
and
mind.
frames things a little bit better in our
Yes.
brains, for sure. Can you share a little bit more about this, the event that you just had
Oh,
recently,
sure.
and
Yeah.
just because I'm interested, and just like a little overview of the
Yeah.
day that you had with your event.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It would actually back up to last May. We visited Hawaii, my family. I
Ah,
turned 40 and my mom turned 70 and we went to Hawaii. And long story short, I felt God speak to me on the beach. He always speaks to me in nature. And the he there's wind blew on my face. I was like, oh, this feels so good. I just feel like God is with me right now. And he reminded me of the word aloha. And the word aloha means breath. And then it means aloha means breath and ha means life. And so I was like,
mm,
oh my goodness, you know, God breathes his breath of life on us, but
mm,
not just like the physical being alive. He breathes value and worth into us. And he wants us to know that we are loved by him and that we're enough because of him and not from anything we could do or earn. And
Mm.
and then that we're beautiful. That means that we're beautiful because of him. He already put
Mm.
that in us, and that our strength comes from him. Anyway, so and then like the next month I turned 40, and then the next month I got pregnant, and I was like, okay, like this isn't just for me. I need to share this. And so I felt like the Lord wanted me to do this event for women that's about fitness and health. And I'm like, all right, January, people are setting goals and I can, encourage them. And so the whole goal was to encourage and empower women to know that they're strong and beautiful because what the Lord says about them and
Mm-hmm.
that their strength comes from him. So kind of resetting the focus from, the quick fix diet culture to, hey, true health comes from the inside out, body, mind, soul, spirit, and like set the tone and encourage people, trauma informed, mental health informed conference. And then I had 8 speakers God laid in my heart, just women that I've been around, my friends, other speakers, people have given me opportunities to speak. And so he gave me, literally dropped in my heart topics for each one of them and then let them kind of take it off. And everybody, man, shared testimony, but I incorporated something about health and fitness throughout it. But really, we talked about our identity being in the Lord. There was someone who shared a testimony of the Lord saving her life, literally, like she was dead and then she was alive again. Like, we had some workouts throughout. We talked about the importance and value of cardiovascular health. And like you mentioned, oxygen to the brain, why that's important, and kind of basics on how to pull foods, the basics, keeping it simple. And, in a world that complicates such a beautiful thing, and like
Yes,
food and exercise and nutrition and exercise, I just
I know.
wanted it to feel simple, but not neglect the most important part. Because what I've seen over the last 20 years is that what really gets in the way, people know what they're supposed to do most of the time, but they have limiting beliefs and past experiences, or something's in the way. There's a negative something in the way of them getting to where they want to be. So
Mm.
that's why I wanted to establish, like, hey, our identity is in the Lord, and no matter what you've been through, like, he's redeeming that and he sees you this way. And if we can really get that inside of us, we might treat ourselves differently. We might love ourselves just like if it were Jesus looking back at us, loving us. And if we could get there, we might say no to what's not good for us and yes to the things that are, and set healthy boundaries. So we talked about healthy boundaries. We talked about, even incorporated some 12-step recovery work. Talked about the importance of community, talked about perseverance, and all the speakers incorporated some part of their own story, about their own journey or what they do physically. And so it was awesome. It blew my mind. It was like a dream come true. We had like 63 women sign up, and
Oh, wow.
I know it just went so well, and I was so grateful for, I don't know, I felt like God's spirit was with us, and this is just a message I want to continue to share. So I'm definitely this is just the first time that we're doing it
Yeah.
again.
So is this going to
So
be like an annual, and you think it'll be
yeah,
an annual thing? Okay.
yeah, I do. It's too important not to, and it's fun. The group's really fun and encouraging, and I think everyone got a lot out of it. We've gotten so much good feedback, and it's like root cause health, right? So it's like, I wanted our health to flow from the inside out and not forget
Oh,
about different parts of who we are, because God created us and it was his image.
that's right.
And so, yeah, so when we talked about lies, the enemy wants, I think you and I talked earlier about how, that one of the lies of the enemy is to keep women quiet, small, feel like they have no impact. And I really spoke to that, just from my personal background, but was able to just talk about how this is this is what the world wants us to believe. And this is what we're saying. We're strong, and we're strong. Your worth
Mhm.
comes from him. And then this is why you don't need to shrink back, and that each one of you were
Mhm.
created with a God-given purpose.
Yeah.
And so it
Yeah.
was really a great conference.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
women are definitely strong because, as I recall, all the men scattered around the time of Jesus' crucifixion, and it was the women that reported
It's true.
his return.
It's true.
So it was strong women were in his inner circle, which is
Mm,
pretty awesome.
it was
And
pretty
so,
awesome.
yeah, it's a fabulous sentiment. I'm glad that your event went so
Thank
well, and hopefully you
you.
continue to do that on the regular. What did you name the event?
Yeah, I named it Strong and Beautiful and then Women's Fitness and Health
Okay.
conference. And there is a
Awesome.
playback that will be
Oh,
available. And if any of your listeners would like access to that,
oh, wow.
just let me know. Okay, just have
Yeah.
them send me an email.
Well, what's your best contact information for people listening that would
Oh,
like
sure.
to know more about you, about the work that you're doing, and
Hmm.
about what you're going to continue to do? How can they
Yeah.
find you and take in more of your content?
Oh, thanks for asking that. Yeah, so a couple different ways I show up on Instagram as Alena.Alsruhe. I have lifting encouragement, nature stuff, and then I would share about whatever events and webinars that I run. Or you can check me out on my website, AlenaAlsruhe.com, and there's just like a lot of free content on there, and also talks about my counseling services as well, and other groups or things you
Awesome.
can join. And then I just started a coaching practice and it's called the Aloha Wellness Collective. So it's really to begin to launch this idea we're strong and beautiful and that health flows from the inside out. And so there'll be many resources on there as well. And that's going to be where all these kind of like bigger events are hosted. So I
Fabulous.
hope to
So
do in
for the
person for
Yeah,
those.
in person's always, always great if you can.
Hmm.
Obviously, virtual though, like obviously
And do
we're
both.
connecting
Yeah,
virtually, and
we'll
and
do
that
both.
that that works. But if you're in the Maryland area,
Yeah.
that you could get in contact with Alena. And again, her name is spelled Alena,
Hmm.
Alena Alsruhe, Alsruhe, and
Hmm.
it's AlenaAlsruhe.com would be
Yep.
obviously the uh, kind of the real good spot there. But I'll have
Yeah.
links in the show description that Alena has shared, and we'll make sure
Thank
that we have
you.
all that. I have one final question for you.
Sure, 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 sure.
I think this is a really good ender
Yeah.
for some of those ladies that are listening, or even guys maybe who
Hmm.
have a struggling wife or partner. For a
Hmm.
woman listening who's in a hard season right now, what's
Hmm.
one small step toward
Hmm.
hope and strength that you'd like to encourage her to take this week?
And so good. I think practically, I wanted to address the practical. Um, One is just don't do it alone and seek community. I would say that when you're struggling on the inside, a lot of times that means you need some help from the outside. And so being
Mm,
able to say, "Hey, I need help. Can you help me? Encourage me?" And just knowing that you're not alone. Two are better than one. And so it will help bring you up and out of wherever you're at. If it's a bad mindset, if it's something really hard you're going through, that person can be there for you, pray for you. Um, and then it's if you don't have anybody, I would at least take a step towards some type of movement paired with something encouraging, an encouraging message online, encouraging song. Like if you don't have a supportive community, definitely want you to find one, but I know sometimes it can be tough. So find
yeah,
someone or something that will encourage you while you're moving. So one small step, try it for 10 minutes. Just do something for 10 minutes that could
yeah,
help you that
yeah.
way.
Go out for a walk. If you have a dog, go
Hmm.
take a nice walk in
Hmm.
your neighborhood with your
Hmm.
dog,
Yep.
and do some reflection. I mean, it's something like for me, it's like brushing teeth. Like I walk my dogs every day of my life. My dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes multiple times a day. But
Yep.
in the mornings, because my wife's got enough to do with my wife's a hospice nurse, and so
Well.
when it comes to her, like kind of preparing for the day and helping with kids and stuff in the morning, that's kind of her thing. And so I'm the dog walker. That's my position in the house.
Hmm.
But as much as it's like a have to and a must do kind of thing, it's
Hmm.
also like it's a privilege
Yeah.
because I get all these extra miles of
Yeah.
walking
That's awesome.
outside, fresh air, sunshine with my dogs, even though
That's
they are
awesome.
annoying sometimes. But there's benefits beyond just the obvious,
Yeah.
and little things like that in life actually are
Add
pretty
up.
big things.
They're big
At the end
things.
of the
Yeah, the
day.
little, and I think that's, yeah, to your point, the little 10 minutes, like that matters. You can
Yep.
make a really big change in a small amount of time, and pairing
You really
movement with
can.
something powerful, something positive will help lift
Mm,
your spirit, lift your mind,
mm,
elevate your body. So that would be the
yeah.
small step that I
That's
would
great.
share.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, of
awesome. I so appreciate your heart and your
course.
just your commitment to other people, and it's
No,
just a
thank you.
beautiful thing. And we need
Thank
more
you.
Alenas in the world for
Oh,
sure. Now
thank
it's, I mean, Joe
you.
obviously gloated about you. She's
She's
like, you
so
have to
sweet.
have her on the show.
She's the best.
Yeah. Well, you're both the best. And
Oh,
it's great. You know, it's comforting to know that there's other just really phenomenal, strong, godly people, men and women, obviously,
hmm
in the world that,
they're there.
you know, that are making an impact in other people's lives, and
Mm,
for the better. And so we're just grateful for you for sure. And grateful for all of our
mm.
wonderful listeners for coming
Thank you
back and
guys.
supporting
Thank
our
you.
show. Yeah. Every week or two, we release a new episode here on Strong by Design. We are
Awesome.
not slowing down anytime soon here
Yay.
as we roll in through 2026, and
Awesome.
we are so appreciative, and we hope that you come back soon for another episode, or share this one,
Sure.
please, with a friend or family
Abs-
member who could benefit from all of the wisdom that Alena shared on today's
mm,
episode, and come back and enjoy. We have hundreds and hundreds of past episodes that you could go
yeah,
back through and
they're
find
awesome.
something else. And check out episode 273 with her husband, Brian, which was a
Yes.
fantastic episode called Die Empty.
He's
Go back and
great.
listen to that. Elena, God bless you. And thank you so
Oh,
much for being on the show.
thank you for having me, Chris. You're incredible. Thank you for all you're doing and helping so many people. God bless you.
Uh, Thank you. All right. Bye, listeners. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening to the Strong by Design podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe so that more people can find out about our show. Plus, you don't want to miss any future episodes with the amazing guests and topics we have lined up for you.